Welcome to Heroes and Droids, your guide to movies and TV shows about superheroes, sci-fi, Disney, and action. From Marvel to DC, from Star Wars to Star Trek, from James Bond to the Fast and Furious. We will discuss theatrical films and streaming delights you care about most. And tonight we are changing our format, we want some feedback. So let us know what you think of this. But we are going to be talking about news. We'll talk about trailers, and then we'll do capsule reviews of the content from the previous week. So this is going to be very exciting. But first off, I'm your host, Doc Rodden, and joining me tonight are my crew, starting off with the Slapman, Chris Slattery. How you doing, sir?
Good. Excited for this whole new world of podcasting.
You are so cool, sir.
I try.
You're too cool. Too cool. All right, also joining us is podcasting rock star and international cosplay queen, Vanessa. How you doing, Vanessa?
Doing good. Glad to be back. It's been a while.
Rocking your costume?
Yes.
Or is that just you, normally?
I can't tell you that.
Oh! All right, also joining us is award-winning filmmaker, Christopher G. Moore. How you doing, sir?
Doing wonderful. Always glad to be back here with you wonderful people talking about cool crap.
Cool crap. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, only the coolest crap is what we'll discuss. All right. I don't know where we're going with that, but, it felt good at the moment. All right.
That's what she said.
Let's start off, ladies and gentlemen, with upcoming news. We have a trio of stories for you. This is exciting stuff. It might be a little MCU heavy, but hey, that's where the news lives. But let's start off with some new casting news in the MCU. Slapman, fill us in. Who has joined the MCU?
Well, in order to fill a very big hole left by the late William Hurt, Harrison Ford was rumored, and I believe, Christopher, you sent something earlier today that basically confirmed that he has been cast as General Thunderbolt Ross and will first appear in Captain America: New World Order alongside Anthony Mackie. And this is a good move because they needed they have a very big hole to fill, and with the new Thunderbolts movie being announced, they have a very big hole to fill now, and maybe hopefully we'll get some green and red Hulk action.
Green
soon.
and red Hulk. Yeah, so it's very important to note that the leader has already been mentioned as being a part of New World Order. That was I don't know if it was it D23 they did that, or was it at Comic-Con? One or the other, they released that. There's definitely going to be some Gamma influences there. And of course, in the comics, General Thunderbolt Ross became the Red Hulk. Spoilers for all those who did not know. So this is good. What do we think of Harrison Ford is like one name I thought would never join the MCU. What do we think of this?
If he cares,
He's
it's great.
Old.
Well, he's the appropriate age for Thunderbolt Ross.
He's old, and I think the only way they're gonna make it work is if they have a CGI Red Hulk, and then you only get pieces of Harrison Ford. Because when that comes out, what's he gonna be, like 82, 83?
Mm-hmm.
He's old, man.
He doesn't necessarily. He doesn't really have a lot to do, because if it's a CGI Hulk, he can always have.
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily have to be doing all the stuff that he did as Han Solo or Indiana Jones. So
I bet he won't even wear the ping pong ball suit. I bet somebody else.
I bet you're right. That dude was like, they were like, "You want to be Thunderbolt Ross?" He was like, "How much?"
Yeah, he'll probably just sit in a chair, move his head, and he gets a paycheck.
And he gets to do voice lines too.
Voice lines, yeah. But
it's gonna be great.
Yeah, but I think he's perfect for Thunderbolt Ross. But I'm just so surprised. But it kind of makes sense. He's in Disney's arm of films right now that they've got Lucasfilm and Star Wars, and because of course Han Solo, right, and then Indiana Jones, which he's just completed. So it makes sense to just slide right on into MCU and take a gig, right? And this is the one for him.
Make that MCU money.
Yeah, and there's nothing saying that Thunderbolt Ross is going to be long for the MCU. He might appear in 2 more movies.
Well,
at
that might
most.
be
Yeah.
true. That might be true. That might be true. I would
So,
imagine he's going to be in the Thunderbolts. It kind of makes sense.
yeah,
right?
well, Captain America and then Thunderbolts, and then I don't know,
One of the-
maybe something happens in Thunderbolts that unites the team. I don't know.
Maybe. And I would imagine he's going to be in one, if not both, of the Avenger movies. Secret Wars, and what was the other one? Kang, something.
Yeah.
But so anyway, that's big news, Chris Slapman. You excited about it?
I said it earlier. As long as Harrison Ford cares, I've noticed that as he's gotten older, he's started to kind of phone in some roles, and hopefully he doesn't just kind of phone this one in.
I hope not. I hope not. Let's try to stay positive and say he won't. All right. Let's move from one aging actor to another. That was not the segue I wanted to do, but that is what is happening. There is a comedy series and movies that came out a few decades back. Christopher, you are a fan of Naked Gun, are you not?
I'm a fan of it when it was called Police Squad.
That's right.
Which was a TV series that lasted for one season. I'm back in the day. I recorded it on VHS so I could have it, and then when it became available to buy, I bought it. It's probably one. They said it was one of the too smart for television.
Yeah, it was
because it had so many jokes per second. But yeah, and then they made it into, of course, the Naked Gun films. From Zaz, the Zucker brothers, and Abrams. Yeah, so it became very popular, and Leslie Nielsen was known for that. Well, I know that Seth MacFarlane for a while was trying to reboot it, and they're finally he's still a producer on it, but they're going to reboot it with Liam Neeson in talks to star as Frank Drebin, and I am all for that. Actually, Liam Neeson starred in MacFarlane's parody of westerns called 1 Million. I think it was called 1 Million Ways to Die in the West, which I actually own, and it's really funny. I mean, and he played the bad guy, and there's a part where they stick a flower in his ass. So I mean, he doesn't mind being sort of and
flowers up his butt.
Well,
okay.
yeah, but he plays a bad guy, but he's good. I mean, the thing is, what made Leslie Nielsen work back in the day, especially when he made Airplane, was playing it straight.
Mm-hmm.
And you need somebody who's going to play it straight and just deliver crazy lines or be in weird situations that make it even funnier. And Liam Neeson's always taken that thing from the line, the whole monologue from Taken, and he does really funny things with it. So yeah, I could definitely see him doing it, and it's actually directed by Kiva Schaffer, who directed the recent Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie, which had a lot of parody type elements. It made fun of noir, it made fun of a lot of different things, made fun of cartoons. I mean, and it's the people that wrote that are writing this as well. So I think there's a great group of people behind it. And I think having somebody of Liam Neeson's stature is really going to be able to deliver that. Because I could easily see him just being like that gruff character he says, the badass character, and just delivering, crazy, weird lines. So I'm kind of excited. I know a lot of people, maybe think it might be sacrilege because if you're fans of Liam Neeson or the Zucker brothers, but I don't know. I'm interested in seeing a new generation of filmmakers and creators, and then a new person at the helm sort of have fun in that realm.
Yeah, we've talked about that. The parody films aren't like Airplane and Naked Gun anymore. They're more like the Scream parodies. All those haunted house parodies. The one
Scary Movie and
Scary Movie
and all those things.
And those don't quite have the finesse. I was going to say class, but class isn't the right word.
And even the Zucker brothers kind of lost a little bit of their touch because they made like the superhero movie, and Abrams went off and did like Hot Shots and did all these movies that had some of that stuff.
Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah, but didn't really feel like. I even watched what was the one that made fun of like 90s like sex. Noir type films like I can't even remember the names of them, but anyway, yeah, a lot of those didn't really hit the same. It felt like everybody was trying to do that thing, but it became more about pop culture references and less about like parodying the actual genre.
Yep. Yeah, Airplane did it the best, of course. Well, I don't know. I think this is a good chance. What do you, Vanessa, Slatman? What do you guys think? Is this something that you have? Do you have a horse in this race? Do you care?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of in the let's wait and see. I haven't really enjoyed Seth MacFarlane's most recent stuff,
No,
but
Well, he's just a
he's
producer. He's
not in
just a
this film.
producer.
yeah, that's the thing. I don't think I don't know. Like he approves what goes on it, and it's not that funny anymore.
Vanessa.
I don't know. We're seeing kind of this next wave of bringing these comedies into now, like with Fletch, with John Hamm doing Fletch.
Oh, that
with
tanked.
I think we're gonna see a lot of that happen until we can find that, like, the new humor that is like that, right? Because you had
Mhm.
like the Will Ferrells and them coming off of this kind of humor, off of Airplane and whatnot. So what's going to come next? Hopefully it can keep up with that. I think getting Liam Neeson is brilliant because even if the movie isn't that great, he's going to be the piece of it that'll hold it together, right? With regardless of what it is. I don't know if you guys watched that Ice Road Truckers movie that he did,
Oh my
but
God,
I
that was
watched
so
it
good. It was
because
so
of
good in the
him.
worst way, but it was good.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
he's just one of those guys who you're gonna enjoy whatever he's doing, and if he's doing it tongue in cheek like that, I think it's gonna be
Well,
awesome.
he's almost becoming a parody of himself anyhow with a lot of these films. It's always like taken
Yeah.
with this, taken with Ice
Yeah.
Truckers.
Mhm.
But I mean, I'll give you a good example. There's actually a BBC TV show called A Touch of Cloth, which came out 2012 to 2014. That's a parody of CSI and those type of shows, and it's got some really dramatic actors that are in that, and it's got that sort of police squad thing where it makes fun of all those tropes that you find in CSI and those type of things. So I think every TV is much different now than what it used to be, especially when it comes to TV movies and detective shows and that kind of thing. So I think it's ripe for parody, but also just having somebody at the helm who's known for doing serious parts. I don't know. I'm excited about it. I think we should, give it a chance,
Yeah, I think Liam Neeson is perfect for it, and I'm excited that. Well, of course, he has to do something until he takes over, Thunderbolt Ross from Harrison Ford in the near future. So,
or the parody of it.
Yeah. So speaking of MCU, Vanessa, we've had a shuffling of release dates. Would you give us a skinny on all that?
It's not skinny, it's pretty fat.
Oh,
because they've basically basically moved. It's thick with 2 C's.
Yeah.
You guys know Blade. The news about Blade came out, and that being a complete crap show, and Mahershala just not standing for it. So with that, and them having to find a new director and probably rewrite the script, from what it sounds like, it's pushed a lot of things back that were going to happen. Deadpool coming out is pushing things back. One of the things that I'm most disappointed about is Fantastic Four, because how great was Fantastic Four in 2024? The marketing, you can't pay for that kind of marketing, but now we got Fantastic Four in 2025. At least it's on Valentine's Day. That's probably the one I'm most disappointed about. But you know what we have now? September 6th, 2024 for Blade. Deadpool, November 8th, 2024. A lot of the movies that we were looking to see next year, I think, are going to be pushed, but we kind of were expecting that, right? That seems to be the trend for movies ever since COVID, right? Everything's kind of just get pushed back a little bit, as disappointing as that is. But, as long as we get good movies in the end, I'll be happy with it, because I'm not going anywhere. And if Harrison Ford is making movies at 82, I think I can wait a little bit. I want my Midnight Suns, though. I want my Blade. I want my Werewolf by Night. I want my Moon Knight. I want everybody to kind of come together, and that's not going to happen if they can't get their crap together.
They got to get their crap together. I think what the last Avenger movie is now in 26, right? 2026.
Yeah, 2026.
So,
yeah. Planet of the Apes, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes going to 5/24/24.
Yeah, that's yeah.
long
All kinds of
time.
things changing,
I
MCU and
know.
other things as well. All right, well, there you go. That's our news for this week. We hope you enjoy it. And if you do, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and help us reach our goals. And I hope you enjoy the next segments as well.
Yes.
All right, up next is our trailers. We have a trio of trailers, and these are going to be very exciting. Let's see if we can get these things going and get them into play here. We're going to talk as it's playing. The first one, this movie comes out April 7th, 2023, animated, as you can see, directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jellerick, and written by Matthew Fogel. You may recognize what this is already. Okay, who's excited about the Super Mario Brothers movie coming in 2023? Raise your hand. No,
Chris.
You
gotta
I don't know.
excited about
The moment that they announced Illumination was making it, I just kind of lost all hope.
Oh no!
Illumination,
why?
in my opinion, has made one good movie.
What's that?
Despicable Me 1.
Okay.
And
Look, this
ever
looks
since then,
really good.
there are parts of it that look very good. There
Yeah.
are parts of it that work very well. Bowser with Jack Black, a
Yes.
seasoned voice actor, or someone who has a lot of experience being a seasoned voice actor, that works really well. Everything after this scene that we're watching right now just has me scratching my head and just I don't understand it. I don't get it, and I don't know. I'm very, very skeptical. I guess that's a good way to put it.
So you like Jack Black as Bowser, but what do you think of Chris Pratt? I almost said Platt. Chris Pratt as Mario and Charlie Day as Luigi. There's Mario.
I don't mind Charlie Day as Luigi. I don't like Chris Pratt as Mario, especially when they literally cast the voice of Mario in this movie as someone else.
Oh, did they really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. That sounds weird.
Why did he just say no? Why did he say yes? I don't understand what
Probably
hubris
because
within
they
him.
offered him enough money that he couldn't say no.
Now, who's the voice of
Look
that?
at cute little toad. That thing.
Here we come. I'm Mario.
Oh.
I don't have a
Why do
crazy
you have
voice.
to do that?
Well, I
Why do
think,
you have to do
well, it's weird. We live in a world now where they're worried that people will think it's a parody of Italian accents, which is kind of crazy. We've gotten to that point when everybody's, even most Italians, are okay with it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like, and I think Chris Pratt kind of set himself up for that, saying like, I'm going to create something that's never been done before. And you listen to it, it's like, hi, it's me, Mario. Okay.
It's basically the same. He just slowed
Yeah,
it down.
it's just slowed it down. So, I mean, yeah.
The difference is that I mentioned it earlier. Jack Black and other actors in this cast, they have some experience doing voice work, like not being in front of a camera, but throwing their voice, like manipulating their voice to emote more. Chris Pratt doesn't really.
So
I mean, he did the Lego movie, but he played himself, basically.
Well, and I think that's the sad world we live in, to where they feel like that by having a name, a big name, that people are going to go see it. I'm going to go see it for what it looks and the story and that kind of thing. I think majority of the time I've never seen an animated film just because somebody voiced a specific part, you know?
Yeah.
And because it's more about the characters. I mean, and I as much as I kind of enjoyed like the new Addams Family animated things, it still would have been better, I think, if they'd gotten more like character, people do character voices.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, I will say, I think this visually looks much better, even though it's by Illumination. I think it doesn't feel like Despicable Me. It doesn't feel like some of their other projects, and they haven't finished the film yet. So this is probably the only scenes they were able to show. So we can't really base it on this trailer.
Yeah.
And I think the problem most people's hate is mainly towards Chris Pratt, because it's like that kind of pulls you. Everybody else seems to be.
Don't they know we hate
doing-
Chris Pratt? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Well, but everybody else seems to be doing what they need to do. You know, even we kind of wondered what Toad was going to be, and Toad just sounds like a character in that universe. Chris Pratt doesn't sound like anybody in that universe, you know.
No,
But everybody,
Well, we'll
like
see
Jack
what-
Black, everybody. I mean, even the I think the guy who does the Penguin, the King, he like does one of the voices in one of the card. I forgot, he plays one of the characters, one of the I think Marvel DC projects. But yeah, I think it looks great. I love that entrance of Bowser, and I'm
Yeah.
always a bad guy person to begin with. And it's someone that was actually in a non-canon, non-official Mario project. I'm kind of excited that Kamek is in it because so I got to play a version of that. But yeah, I'm excited to see it. I have hope for it, but I kind of hope they do with this what they did with Sonic, and they replace Chris Pratt.
It's too late.
Wow. Might be
It's too late.
Oh,
Too late.
no.
Because you
Well,
can
was it
always
too late
replace
to redo the
you can't. You can always replace voices pretty
Yeah.
easy.
It's too late, man.
All right. Well, we have more trailers. Who here is a fan of Charles Dickens?
I love Scrooged.
This Scrooge. Well, speaking of Scrooge, we got something very close to this. We have Will Ferrell teaming up with Ryan Reynolds for Apple TV
Oh yeah.
doing Spirited. Now, this to me feels very Scrooged, but fun. And I love Scrooge.
Well, more like a theatrical Scrooge.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
This feels like something you'd see on Broadway, maybe.
Yeah. There are parts of this that really work for me, and then there are parts of this that, like what we just saw, that felt just a little stretched out too much. But I don't know.
It may not be that way in the movie, you know, or may feel differently.
Yeah, I hope so, because the parts that work really well.
I don't have Apple TV, but I'm
It's
excited
also
to.
coming to theaters, I thought.
Oh, okay.
In theaters November 11th and streaming November 18th on Apple TV. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
See-
excited. I'm a sucker for this story, so
Yeah, I don't know.
Christmas
Ryan
Carol.
Reynolds is like what the he's the Chris Pratt we want.
Oops, sorry about that. Nice and noisy. Yeah, he is. Yeah. I'm guilty. I'm looking forward to this quite a bit.
Right up
I didn't
your
know
alley.
anything about it until the trailer came out, and I was like, "Oh my
Oh,
god!"
Mhm.
I knew about it just because of stuff I'd seen online of them when they were shooting that scene where they're going off on each other.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about this. At the same time, it's like, how many times do we have to see the story done? And he needs to add something different.
I don't
for it
care.
to be
If it's
What?
fine.
I like.
Well,
Well, I like this approach. But because it's going to be lively and fun. Some music too, and some. I often don't like Will Ferrell, but I've been liking him a lot more lately, for whatever reason. He did a TV show recently with where he was taking. I forget what it was. I forget the name of, it, but he was taken advantage
The
of
Shrink?
by
The Shrink one?
Yeah. Yes, and he was so good at it. Really changed my mind about him. So I'm looking forward to it, and I have no shame.
well, it could be good. It's got two comedic geniuses, I'll say. So yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and they are both about timing. So let's see if they get that right. So
Yeah, as long as they're not butting heads throughout the whole thing, everybody's like, I'm going to one up you, you know?
they might. All right. Last year, I believe it was last year. It was the year before last. One of the recent years, we were very surprised about Enola Holmes on Netflix. I think Chris Slatman, you were a huge fan of that one, right?
Yeah, both of the Chris's were.
I loved it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Goes to the Chris's.
I think when we did like our upcoming movies we're looking forward to, I mentioned the sequel I was looking forward to.
Yeah, and it is coming out November 4th, a little under a month away. Holy cow.
That's soon,
Not,
yeah.
Not very soon at all. Let's take a look at the trailer, shall we?
There I am.
Now, this is the second trailer and third if you count the teaser, right?
She worked at Match
Henry
Factory.
Cavill's on screen.
Enola Holmes.
Oh, no, there you go.
Looks like she blow
I
out.
think you're looking. I think you care more about looking at him than listening to him. He makes me question my sexuality. I'll tell you
Look
that.
at him.
My kiss or your own?
Well, from what I can tell, and hopefully this is the trend they're going for, it seems like we might get more Henry Cavill and
blackmail, corruption,
and Millie Bobby Brown together,
Together,
and
yeah.
those scenes really worked in the first one, I thought, and
Yeah.
it just more of the good parts of the first one, which a lot of it was good. So just more of the first one.
Well, I was gonna say, kind of like you're saying, she can hold her own against him when they're acting together. So I'm excited to see more of them together, and even more if they do more, like you're saying.
Yeah. And we're getting more Helena Bonham Carter as well, obviously.
And you will become more of who you are.
Good cast. Good cast.
Yeah.
Magnificent.
And she does those She-Hulk fourth wall breaks too.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Repeat it. May I come in?
does it really well.
Everyone here.
I
is
kinda-
playing art.
I really wish they'd do a spin-off of
It's
Henry Cavill.
testing
His
each other.
Sherlock.
Yeah.
Well, that's just rude.
Well, I think they can't.
Well, yeah.
It's still RDJ, I guess.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be in finishing school?
Well, it had more to do with the people that own the rights to Holmes.
Or no, I guess it's also
That.
what's his name?
Another thing our mother has to answer for.
What's the Sherlock one from the BBC?
Oh,
Doctor
Sherlock.
Strange. They're saying there's going to be another one. They're going to do another season.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Benedict
Yeah.
Cumberbatch. The there's this weird legally thing with Sherlock Holmes. Like, you can do Sherlock Holmes, but you can't do any of the references to exact books or movies. And then this one, of course, is a series of books from Nancy Springer. So they can use. So I'm here. This is all hearsay, but he can appear in these movies as Sherlock, but I don't know if he could do his own Sherlock.
So maybe
Well-
not the Arthur Conan Doyle.
Well,
authored
supposedly,
stuff.
I from what I understand, they actually got sued for a little bit because they were trying to, because the sister character is kind of a spin-off thing. So sort of like the whole Bionic Woman, Bionic Man thing back in the day, where if you create a separate character, you can do your own thing with it, and you don't have to worry about all the right stuff. So
Right. But obviously they won because we got out of no Holmes too. Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's coming out November 4th. So that's our trailers for today. We hope you enjoyed them. Let us know what you think of having trailers in our news articles, and let us know what you think of these particular trailers in the comments down below. And of course, hit the like and subscribe buttons and help us reach our goals for YouTube subscribers. Of course, we can't do that. Only you can, and every click counts. Thank you. Our next segment is reviews, and we're going to we have been doing reviews for full episodes and getting really into the meat of things, and that may happen from time to time, but there's just so much content and so little time. So we are going to be bringing you these capsule reviews, starting with this episode, and we have two shows to review. Could be movies, could be shows, could be anything, but it's going to be two shows. We are going to review She-Hulk Attorney at Law episode 9, the finale, and we're going to do Star Wars Andor episode 6. Yes,
yes.
we are. So let's start off, shall we, with Attorney at Law. That would be She-Hulk, the season finale, episode 9. Let us find out what did you think of it, and what is your score 1 to 5? Vanessa, start us off. She's like, why me? She says.
No, because I know how you feel about it. So we're going to be at odds here, but I loved it. I loved this season. I had so much fun. Jessica Gao is a phenomenal showrunner. She just did some amazing things with this series. The finale was completely entirely unexpected. I never in my wildest dreams would have put that together that would have happened. Are we going spoilers? I don't want to be too spoilery if we're not. Or
We are
spoilers.
going spoilers.
Okay. Yeah, mostly to see the Abomination in his full form. I was like, "You little sneak," when I saw him do that. But excuse me, I really just had a blast with that. It just didn't take itself seriously. It was so tongue in cheek. It was really like the comments, breaking that fourth wall. I loved when it got back to the menu screen and she pushed through the menu screen because everybody had left the show. It's just like it's so much of the dialogue that's going on about it. It's like the show was already ahead of and knew it would have to deal with along the way. And I think Tatiana Maslany is just the cutest human being alive right now. She's just so adorable.
Human
And
being alive.
I just love her. And her contrast between her human Jennifer Walters form and her She-Hulk form and her dealing with everything that's going on with that. It's just so great. She does such a great job at it. And I know you hated it, but I loved Kevin. I thought Kevin was hilarious. Especially as she's having to like beat people up. The one guy is like, I would die for Kevin. It just feels so funny. And it's like all the things that people talk about and make fun of. And I don't know. I feel like it just hit the nail on the head. And I understand that the things that you've shared with me about how you feel about it. And I'm sure a lot of fans are feeling that way too, particularly about the Hulk and Daredevil and whatnot. But it did my heart good to see a happy Matt Murdock for a little while.
Yeah,
And
that was.
yeah, it was just I just loved it.
You have a score 1 to 5?
Oh, is this just for the last episode or because it's
Yes.
the season or for the
Last
whole
episode.
Last episode. Ah! He's debating.
Well, this one I wouldn't give it a 5 because 5 is like we've gotten 5s. I would probably give this one a 4. This one get a solid 4 from me.
Okay. Excellent. Christopher G. Moore. What did you think of the final episode? What was your score?
I thought it was brilliant.
Brilliant.
It gets a 4.5 out of me. And regardless of how it sort of like takes, I mean, I didn't like the way I didn't like the way it was ending, and for her to sort of call it out was perfection. That opening scene, which is a perfect recreation of the original Incredible Hulk, is brilliant. They even recreated the sets. I was like, what? I mean, and I'd seen like the guy who was doing who said that he was supposedly her. But we find out he was actually in that one episode. But yeah, and it's like and then she keeps calling out, and then like when she makes that final break and then does the thing which is always famous in the comics of her like coming out of the comic and stuff, but she's coming out and through and going on the set and then just meeting this version of Kevin Feige. I loved every minute of it. I laughed more in this episode than all the rest of the episodes put together. Because of just how Kevin Feige allowed them to sort of make fun of Marvel, make fun of the normal formula they use. And there are just so many really funny moments, even when she's interacting and doing her fourth wall. It's like, I smash this, I smash Daredevil every once in a while. And it's like, I laughed so hard during that. And I think for me, and I think we talked about this in the previous episodes, I hope that we doesn't turn to this normal thing where it turns into normal action stuff, because this is a sitcom. Okay, sitcoms don't necessarily have to make perfect sense. They don't have to necessarily have the perfect arcs. It's supposed to be a comedy, and I think this, by the way they ended it, even though it kind of knocks away some of the way the story went to, it went in a better direction, because I didn't really care about all that stuff. Sure, it kind of like tied it up in a little tidy bow, and that's why I don't give it a perfect 5. But I love the whole fourth wall break, the whole sort of like meeting the people in the writing room, which were actually people in the writing room. The person that was the receptionist is actually a receptionist who used to work at Marvel. You actually have to sign the little thing, the little iPad thing, when you go in their NDA. So it's just funny how they're actually just, I don't know. To me, they really went out of their way to sort of to add that kind of walking outside the comic panel that we saw in the comics. So I don't know. I mean, this seems to be people are divided. I've seen people that absolutely love it and people that don't like it, and that's fine. But I really enjoyed it. That's the perfect. Those was like the perfect fourth wall break for me. So, and I laughed so much during that scene because it just had so much fun, sort of like just having fun, just making Marvel allowing itself to make fun of itself and all the stuff that we normally know happens when it comes to the A through Z way they tell stories. So
Yeah,
We
unfortunately,
used 4.5. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
yeah,
as
yeah.
Vanessa has already alluded to, I did not enjoy. Now I watched it twice. I did watch it a second time, but my first reaction was utter disgust. I did not think it was funny. I did not like it. I did enjoy the Hulk recreation from the old TV show. I thought that was pretty nifty because it was hilarious that they had like a Lou Ferrigno Hulk for a version of her. But there's three things that really rubbed me the wrong way in a huge way. And that is, I did not like the Kevin thing. I thought that didn't work for me. I did not like Scar at all. I'm rather upset about it. I'm very unhappy about it. And I don't like how they included Daredevil this episode. I mean, I get it. Like seeing a happy Daredevil at the dinner thing was fun, but I just didn't like it. I didn't like, it. And on top of that, I was really upset that, we spent all this time with this mystery of who this thing was. And it was kind of a non-component to the show. And I don't know. I was like, well, why did I get invested in all that? Yeah. So it didn't work for me. And I originally was going to give this a 1. Mm-hmm. Like it really didn't work for me. Now I did watch it again, and watching it a second time, I was less offended and enjoyed these pieces a little bit more. So I'm actually bumping my score up to a 2, but I am very unhappy with this episode. To me, it's like, I don't want a She-Hulk second season now. I'm done. I'm good. That was a good experiment. Let's move on. Don't like it. First episode and the episode with Daredevil are the best ones. The rest of them were, ups and downs. Some of them were shaky. This one was awful.
Well, Vanessa and I are looking forward to it.
I know.
Yeah. We like big, strong green women.
Well, I do. And I do like. Okay. I do think the character and the actress playing her is fantastic. I don't know if I liked this particular episode, but let's move on to Star Wars. We've been covering Star Wars Andor, and episode 6 has come out. So are we halfway through the season with this? Is that right? So this is the second trilogy of stories, and then I think Slapman was telling us we're getting a one-off, and then 3, and then 2 for the finale, something like that, or some version of that.
That's the rumor.
The rumor. But yeah. Let's talk about this. This is the wrapping up the second storyline for Andor, if you will. And let's find out what our impressions were, and what's our score 1 to 5. Slapman, sir, you are up first.
So I need to preface this by saying that I think of the 3 of us or 4 of us, I've loved Andor the most going into this. So, take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt, but I think this episode's brilliant. I think it's very well done. I think it's tense all the way through. I think some of the things that they have been sprinkling throughout the last 2 episodes, some of those character moments that we were groaning about actually kind of paid off pretty well. And I thought that it just worked. The CGI was very well done during the Eye event. I thought that the sets that we were actually doing was good. The plan, seeing it all come together, it worked out really well. And I don't know, I absolutely loved it. And then at the very end, the very end with oh gosh, I'm completely forgetting his name.
The guy who played Andor.
No,
The Skeet
The-
character, whatever his name was.
no, the very very end at the with
With Skarsgård
yeah,
character. Yes,
Skarsgård's character. Like that was just awesome.
we
just
should
to
know what
see-
Skarsgård's character is.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but I absolutely loved it. I loved it, and I'm giving it I'm giving it a 5. I thought it was a very very good episode, and I thought it was everything kind of just worked very well for a very good, tense, well shot, well acted, and well written heist. Like I don't think I've felt so tense watching Star Wars since the Rogue One, actually.
Oh wow!
Since
Okay.
since the last little bit of Rogue One when they were all on Scarif, like it was I loved it.
Yep. Yeah, Luthen is the character. All right, running out of time. So, Christopher, quickly, what was your reaction to Andor and your score?
Well, this had more of what I was wanting, but it also had some of the stuff that I don't like about this series. I don't care about the more boring parts of it. I didn't care. I like, what was the whole point of showing the family of the Imperial guy? I mean, it really didn't add anything to it. It's just a way. But then once we get into like the midst of them doing the thing, which we had to slog through pedantic, boring parts of Star Wars to get there. And we get this, and we get just that beautiful thing, but still, it still feels like they focus on the more boring parts of it. I really don't think that Tony Gilroy has an idea of how to tell a Star Wars story that's interesting and entertaining. But I think once they get into the midst of trying to do this plan, it does get very tense and interesting. And that I enjoyed. And we finally got like an alien guy with like 4 arms, so I was happy about that.
We did.
I'll give it a 4.25. I mean, I'm still worried about this series because there's parts of it I was like, ugh. I'm not sure if I want to see more. If it's about the boring parts, you know, I see enough boring movies as it is. I don't need to see boring family life or boring stuff. Nobody cares. I don't really care about that. So I understand they're trying to tell a different story, but you have to make it interesting.
I care.
You care?
I'm glad you care, but I don't necessarily need to see like the whole family thing with the Imperial officer was just they didn't add anything to the story.
Well, they didn't handle any tension of, you know.
No, it's bad storytelling. It's bad character. I mean, it's like you need to add stuff to add something to it. But to me, it's like, okay, we just need to show all these boring parts of the world. It's like, I don't watch most stories for the boring parts. You save that for like indie films that, you know, that only 5 people like. So anyway.
5 people. Yeah. Real quickly, this just didn't work for me. I'm sorry, Slapman. I must have been having a bad week because I did not enjoy this episode, and it made me enjoy the previous 2 even less, because I felt like I was investing myself into something that was going to have an interesting conclusion, and I didn't like. The heist did not thrill me at all. It just felt, I don't know. It didn't feel. I mean, it's weird. It's really strange because it feels Star Wars, but it doesn't feel Star Wars. It's really weird in that respect. I'm not writing off the show just yet, but this is making me question it quite a bit. It definitely needs more punch to it. Needs a little bit more. Something to draw you in and care, because I didn't care about these characters when things were going down, and I wasn't shocked when I should be, and it didn't really end on a note that I cared for. And even Luthen's last scene was like, oh well, okay, what? I don't know the point of what we were trying to tell with these 3 episodes. It didn't work for me. I'm giving it a 2.5. I really was not happy with this episode. What do you think of that?
Just a bad week all around.
I'm bad week. I didn't take my medicine or
For
something.
you.
I don't know.
Not every story is for everyone, and
There
that's
you go.
okay. You're
There you
allowed
go.
to not like things that other people like, and you're allowed to like things that other people don't like.
You just go watch Terrifier 2 again.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. Well, of course, next week can turn it all around. So join us next week for reviews of Andor and Black Adam. Oh boy.
Already.
Oh boy. And of course, news and trailers. So we hope you enjoyed this. If you did, of course, hit the like, the subscribe, share with a friend. Of course, we're trying to reach a goal that only you can help us reach. So click those buttons.
We need your help.
And of course, if you want to join the Patreon, look for the Patreon link down below, and you can watch this recorded live on Patreon.
Whoa.
Patreon. Be a patron of Patreon.
See us mess up live.
Yes, that's what we do. All right. Well, we time is up. We gotta get out of here. Chris, Slapman, Christopher, the world's greatest director, and Vanessa. Thank you for joining me this week.
It's always fun.
I'll be the third Chris.
You be Chris.
Christopher, Chris. I'll take
Chris Nessa. Chris Nessa.
Chris Jr.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's say good night.
Good night.
Good
night.
night.